What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Hope all you're having a great day so far today. Getting into this episode of GH, I enjoyed this episode. I felt bad for Sasha and Brando. I really did. They were trying to cling on to hope that their son was going to be okay, that they had options, and they were not ready to give up on their son. But once they talked to Britt, there were no other options. Sasha was just upset at this point. She felt like if Britt couldn't do anything to help their son, then they'll find somebody who could. And it's not that Britt didn't want to help. It's just that the hospital could only do but so much. They've done everything they can for Liam. There's just nothing more that they can do. I mean, the other option is simple, put him in a long-term care facility. But he's never going to have a normal life. He's never going to wake up. He's never going to know who they are. He's not going to recognize their voices. He's not going to be normal. You know what I mean? He's just going to be a vegetable. And if that's what they want, that's an option. But he's going to be susceptible to a bunch of different diseases and stuff like that, like bed sores and you know pneumonia and other things. It's like you really don't want to put him through that. You know what I mean? So Brando started realizing that the only other option was to take him off life support. That's the only thing that they can do. I felt bad for them, and I felt bad for Britt because it's not easy as a doctor to have to tell your patients this about a newborn. It's not an easy thing. Um, Hopefully they can, take some time and get past this. But I have a feeling that it's going to be a long, bumpy road for Brando and Sasha. This was their first child. And this mess happened. It's going to mess with them. It's really going to test them. It's going to test them as people. It's going to test their, relationship. It's really going to test them. Because when you get news like this, it can lead you down a dark path. Mentally, it will mess you up. So hopefully, and I think we're gonna get some good material from that. I think we are. If the writers are consistent with putting them in the story, in certain episodes, we're gonna see the drama with them. You know what I mean? You're gonna start to see cracks in their relationship because when you lose a child, it messes with the relationship. You start to get angry. You start to blame somebody. It's gonna be a lot for the two of them, and I'm here for it because I think we're gonna get a lot of great material from this. But I really felt bad for them, because taking your child off life support is not an easy decision. They sat there for 9 months, happy and waiting for this child to come, and now that he's here, now he's gone. I would listen. I don't know how I would have been able to handle that. You know. Um. So anyway, moving on from that, why Carly acting so simple? She was so surprised that Sunny got all the decorations and stuff up. She was like, "How did you get these decorations up without me knowing about it?" I'm like, because you probably been at the Metro Court all day. It's not really hard. Rich people, from what I've heard, rich people can call a service and literally have them put the decorations up for them. I know wealthy people do it all the time. You know what I mean? They put up the decorations and stuff for them, or they can get whatever staff they got at the house to put the decorations up. So it's really not that hard. You know what I mean? Literally, all you need to do is just write a check. Call the service, open up your checkbook, your debit card, whatever, and they come and put the stuff up. And I'm pretty sure Carly was at the Metro Court throughout the entire day. So obviously, he can easily get that done without you knowing. But I thoroughly enjoyed the scenes with Sunny and the girls and stuff. Donna and Avery. Um, it was so sad at the same time to see the girls asking him if he was gonna be there on Christmas morning. Because remember, he was presumed dead last Christmas. So, he reassured them that, yeah, I'm going to be here for Christmas. He said, I'm going to read y'all a story. I'm going to tuck y'all in. Oh, crap. I'm almost dropping stuff. Um, so, yeah, he was like, I'm going to read you a bedtime story. I think he said the night before Christmas or whatever. I still got to read that. I don't think I've ever read a night before Christmas. I can honestly say I don't think I've ever read it. I got to read it now. But the house looked nice, and I'm glad, Sonny kept the tree bare so that way the family could decorate it together. Um, I thought that was a nice touch. Um, I agree with Sonny. I mean, with all the drama that they've been going through this year and last year, they need a break. You know what I mean? Like, and why not through Christmas? You know, Christmas is the perfect excuse to take a moment, forget about all the drama in your day to day life, and just take a day or the holiday season to just be about the holiday. You know, um, and of course they started talking about Jason and stuff. And Sonny told Carly he don't want her to, hide her feelings about Jason to him. And she was talking about the keychain or whatever that he gave her and carved her name in it or whatever. Um, of course, Carly had to reassure Sonny that he's the only guy for her or the only man in her heart or whatever. She could say that, but we all know Jason is definitely another man in her heart. We all know that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that was her bestie, for a long time. So there's definitely nothing wrong with that. Um, so anyway, Michael, of course, had his day. He had his hands full with the whole parole hearing with Brad. Michael was so certain that Brad was going to get denied parole based off of his statement alone. Um, I respect the fact that Michael's not afraid of people, but when it comes to Miss Wu, he needs to really tread lightly because every time that woman looks at somebody, she looks at them like she's looking through your soul. Like she will reach her hand in and just pull your heart out. That's how she looks at people, just this dead stare. You know, I would be scared of her ass. Um, so I respect the fact that Michael ain't showing no fear, but even Willow was looking a little worried, when Miss Wu was standing there and stuff, and she was looking at Michael with this worried look on her face. I'm like, I'm glad somebody worried, because Miss Wu is not to be played with. And I got a feeling that she up to something. I understand she's been a great ally to the Corinthos organization over the years. I would not fully trust her if I was Sonny. If I was Sonny, I would not 100% trust her. I would keep her a little bit at arm's length, keep doing good business with her, but I would keep tabs on her because something about her, she looked like she would stab you in the back the second you turn around, and not a moment too soon. Like she will get you. Like I wouldn't trust that. Um, so of course, Michael got to put out his little speech or whatever about how Brad, hurt a lot of people, including Lucas, and how he's basically a threat to the community. Um, I wouldn't necessarily see Brad as a threat. I'm just saying. I mean, yeah, he did some bad shit, but have you met Cyrus Renault? Like, look at all the hell he done raised in Port Charles, and you think Brad is a threat? He ain't got nothing on the people that's been in that town the last few years. Cassandra, all these people were a real threat. Now you got Victor back, Peter. All these people are a major threat compared to Brad. Brad is just, a small little dot, a small little dot of a threat. I wouldn't even consider him a big threat. He's a little pellet compared to the other people that they've had to deal with. But I ain't mad at Michael for feeling the way he feel. He just feels like he's never gonna forgive Brad for what he did. And I'm not even gonna sit here and say, oh, he should forgive him at some point. Nope. Nope. Because what Brad did was fucked up. I wouldn't trust him moving forward. So I can't blame Michael, for, waging a war against him, basically. Because Miss Wu was trying to tell Michael, if Brad were to get parole, she can assure him that he'll stay away. Michael was like, oh, he ain't getting no parole. He was confident about that. And, Brad was allowed to give his little speech about how he wants to prove to the parole board that he can be a virtue, to society or whatever. He can redeem himself. And the parole board, I guess they bought it. Because Brad got parole because Miss Wu had called Sonny or whatever to let him know that they voted in favor of Brad getting the parole, and she thanked Sonny. In my opinion, yeah, Sonny had something to do with it, but he only had one board member on his side. You still need a majority for Brad to get parole. So even if one parole board member say, "Hey, let's give him parole," if the other board members say no, it's a no. It's a majority rule. So I wouldn't go, patting Sonny in the back, giving him, all the glory for all of this because he only had one board member. But I'm pretty sure once that comes out, Carly and Michael are not going to be thrilled. Um, and Carly had to reassure Willow that there's no need to worry about Wiley because he's protected, of course, by the family. Um, Michael was more worried about, Sonny's relationship with Miss Wu. Like he was hoping that, him testifying against Brad wouldn't put a damper on things. Michael is gonna be flipping his shit when he find out what Sonny did. He's gonna be flipping when he find out that Sonny made a deal with her and got a parole board on his side, a parole board member to vote in his favor to get Brad out. He's not gonna be thrilled, and Carly damn sure not gonna be happy about it. I think a lot of what's going on between the Nina stuff, the deal with Miss Wu, all of this might just be the camel, the straw that breaks the camel's back for their marriage. It just might be. Carly, we all know she only puts up with but so much from a guy before she be chalking up the deuces. So I don't know if Sonny gonna be able to sweet talk his way out of this. It's always so good though to see Carly and Sonny with Wiley and stuff because I cannot believe Carly is a grandmother. I cannot believe it. Watching this show years ago, I never thought I would see today Carly be a grandmother. I never knew what that would look like, her being a grandparent. It's still kind of surreal to me. It's like, Carly? Okay. So anyway, moving on from that, I was shocked. I was just as shocked as Curtis when Aunt Stella was defending Marshall. I was shocked. I said, oh, I thought she was going to flip out on him and cuss him out, for faking his death and being gone, making people think that he died. But she was actually trying to tell Curtis to hear him out and give him a chance. I said, what? Aunt Stella? I know she had a stroke and she's recovering, but did they replace her heart with somebody else's? Because I was like, this ain't the Stella I know. Stella would have been flipping the fuck out. Okay, they must have gave her a new personality or something. I was like, all right now. Um, but I definitely think she knows more than what she says. I think she know what really happened back in the day, and that's why she's so cool, calm and collected. She was shocked to see Marshall, and I think she thought that he really did die back then, but I think she knows the dangers that he's talking about because Marshall keeps saying how it was too dangerous back then. He had to go because if he would have stayed, the whole family probably would have ended up dead for real. And he claims that the danger is still out there. It's probably not as bad as it was back then, but the danger can still affect the family. So my whole thing is, if you still got beef with somebody or there's still danger out there, why did you decide now to come back? If the danger could still touch your family, I'm confused. Why come back now? That's a risky move, I guess. Yeah, I definitely think Curtis need to listen to his daddy now because I'm intrigued. Like, I want to know what is this danger he speaks of. That's what I want to know. Like, what is so bad? Like, what did he get into all those years ago that's so bad that's still going on now? This is definitely piquing my interest. I want to know what's going on with this. I really do. I want to know. And he was saying, TJ's willing to give him a chance, so he hopes that Curtis is too. And I think Curtis should talk to him. Hopefully find out what happened back in the day. So anyway, moving on from that, Maxie needs to stop talking out loud. Talking about, oh, is Peter dead? Is Peter dead? Tell me he's dead. I hope he's dead. Maxie, stop talking. Stop talking. Because now if something happened to this man and you get charged or something happened, people are going to have to testify that you were running around the hospital begging if he's dead or not, asking. Like, chill out, be quiet. Stop talking that foolishness. Um, so anyway, I'm glad, Finn got to Liz when he did, because she looked like she was in a trance. Like she was not Liz. It was like she was having an out of body experience when she had that scalpel on her hand and she was looking at Peter. Thank God he got there. And I thought, Austin was gonna do something when he picked up that scalpel. Um, Mind you, the only person I think I would be scared of that scalpel right now. Because the only person I believe that was wearing gloves when they were touching it was Liz. Finn touched that scalpel, he was not wearing gloves. Austin touched that scalpel, he was not wearing gloves. I will hope if something does happen to Peter, that scalpel is not going to be the weapon that does it. Because both of their prints are in that weapon. I'm just saying. So they might want to be careful on that. Um, as much I totally get where Liz is coming from. Like she wanted to end Peter right there, right then and there to give her son some justice. But I agree with Finn. If she would have did that, they would have lost, another parent. You know, and that's the one thing those boys cannot handle right now. Jake already lost Jason. All three of her boys, they lost Franco. Lucky is out of the country, living La Vida Loca, doing whatever the hell he doing. Um, they just lost too many father figures, and they can't lose another parent because Liz is their solid foundation. Out of all the father figures that they've had that came into their lives, that came and went, Liz as their mother has always been the present. She's always been there. You know what I'm saying? So if they lose her, they really are lost. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad she didn't get a chance to do that. Um, and even Finn admitted that not only did the boys need her, he needed her. I said, oh, and she ended up kissing him and running off like a little schoolgirl. I'm like, Liz, stop it. I think she ran off because she's attracted to Finn, but she still has these feelings for Franco, which is normal. I mean, that was her husband. And their life together was cut short. So of course she's still gonna have feelings for her husband. She's still gonna be in love with him, but it's also natural for her to start moving on too. So I don't think she should fight that. If she feels ready, I say go for it. But anyway, this was a pretty good episode though. Hit the comment section, let me know what y'all thought about it, and I will see you all later. Have a great night. Peace.